As we're about to go green here at Charlotte, the 24, Frank DiMaggio, is going to get it going, followed by the 38 of Thomas Harmon, the 42 of Ryan Nichols getting the inside of the 9. We are racing at Charlotte. Longest race of the year, Dave.
Yes, I'm hoping it's going to be a spectacular one. Ooh, Thomas, he sneaks in there. He wants a piece of that first place.
Yeah, he was kind of going for it from the get-go. It's really hard to pass anywhere, really, in these cars, so you got to try to make the moves when you can.
I think both Thomas and Frank needed a little Charmin right there.
That's a little Charmin action, cutting it close. As we see Frank DiMaggio kind of pulling off from everybody, the 9 is going to get on the inside of Thomas Harmon, possibly on the tri-oval into 1.
The 9 does not want to see that 24 car go off in the distance.
Man, I'm thinking so early in the race, I don't want to be abusing my tires, period, but I don't think there's anything they can do about it right now. You got to kind of go and see what happens as the 42 thinks about going on the inside. Thinks against it. If you're just joining us, we're on lap 4 at the USRC Cup Series in Charlotte, the Bubba Wallace 300, 200 laps, 300 miles. We follow along with the number 9 Twitch Chevrolet of Justin Morton, Gem Knight 657 on Twitch. Looks like everyone's kind of spaced out there, Dave, but you know, one car I see.
Everybody's kind of spreading out, buying their time. Just it's, you know, waiting for that stage end that's when we're going to see things pick up quite a bit.
Well, what I have to say, some of the most exciting stuff about the USRC Cup Series, the Premier Series between the Gear Jammers, is some of these cars back there. You see that 28 back there and that 420. We don't typically see those guys on a Friday or Saturday night. They only come out for the, you know, the big races, the big day. And so they're fun to watch. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here as we get down to the end of 300 miles here at Charlotte.
This is going to be half the distance that these guys will run next week for the official series.
That's right. Yeah, next week is the Coca-Cola 600, the biggest race NASCAR has outside of Daytona. For me, one of the funnest to watch, if not the funnest. I'll be looking forward to that. I believe that might be the last telecast for Fox before we switch over to NBC Sports. I'd like to throw it out to NBC Sports and Fox and NASCAR for allowing us to grab so much content during these races and throw them out. Plus that, you never see it, so that's fantastic. Well, so we're kind of spread out here, Dave. Why don't we take a look at some of these cars back in the field? First, I'd like to take a look at Ill Will in the number 62 and tell me who you want to see after that. So we see that New York City taxi cab. I don't think we see too many drivers out of New York City making the series. So shout out to Ill Will, Hoodrich Gaming on Twitch. I believe he lives right up in the city, as he's on the inside of the 94 Jordan Malish. Looks like he's still working on that number 9 of Justin Morton. As we're on lap 13 of 200 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Bubba Wallace 300, following around with the number 42 of Ryan Nichols, as he's trying to make the pass in the number 9 Twitch Chevrolet of Justin Morton, and he's there, Dave.
Yeah, he's been there. I've been watching him. He's been there a couple times. Gets to the inside and then just looks like he thinks better of it and settles back in.
I think the cars are so tight, you don't want to drift up into someone. Oh, and Thomas Harmon, the 38. It's a close call for somebody that almost smacks him as we're following around with Thomas Harmon. Yeah, he just gets loose. No, he was fine there. Sitting in second place. Is this going to be coming out of 4, Dave?
Yeah, it's coming out of 4.
Coming out of 4, he just gets loose. Let's see who's going to squeak by him with the Charmin close call, and that's the 42 of Ryan Nichols. Maybe his luck is getting better. That was a close call for some. All right.
I believe that's a throwback of a throwback, right? Because that's a Kyle Larson paint scheme ode to Kyle Petty. Then Kyle Petty was an ode to the Trickle, so... This
is like its inception here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we're about to go on lap 19 of 200 in the USRC Cup Series. The number 24, Frank DiMaggio, is going to lead him off here.
They all bunch up on the outside. The outside lane gets held up quite a bit, about 3-4 cars back.
You know, it's interesting in this series, them being able to control the start, you know, not having to wait for any line in particular, just as long as they don't get black flags from iRacing. So there's a lot of different strategies to be played at the start of these things. So we see the 420 of Josh Powell and the 28. We were talking about this earlier, Sean, man. We got some of these racers here on Sundays that we don't normally see. You know, like that, the 420 of Josh Powell and the 28 of David Life, man. And I think that's, I think it makes these races so much more exciting when you have those cars in the race.
Right. I mean, Ryan Nichols is a guy who's kind of trickled into some other series, if you see what I did there. But he's kind of been in the he's kind of been in the truck series a couple times, but he hasn't been around too much. So. You know, he's kind of making a name for himself. Here we have other guys, though, like J.W. Miller, Frank DiMaggio, you know, Justin Moore. These are guys who race every single race they can with us, too. So it's nice to see kind of both sides.
All right, you guys are in the booth with Sean Hughes 13 on Twitch, Nitro Beast on Twitch, and iTwitch Racing, obviously, because you're watching it on Twitch. As we're at lap 21 of 200 here at Charlotte. All right, fellas, let's crank it up for a couple laps. And it looks like the end of stage 1, Frank DiMaggio is going to end up winning it. As we get going green here, let's see if the number 9 is going to have something for Frank. But the hard part is with Frank being able to control the start, the inside line gets such a good run.
Yeah, the outside line got a little jumbled up because Justin tried to go a little early, but he was still able to clear off for P2 here. So let's see if he can make a run at Frank. Oh, we had 62.
Oh, no! William Van Alstyne.
Sideways.
I think he saved it.
Light tap off the inside wall.
Okay.
He's turning it back around. Off he goes.
As we do a quick replay on the 62 of William Van Alstyne, Hoodrich Gaming. We call him Ill Will here. Oh, it looks like Jordan got into the wall and then in turn got into the 62, was able to lock it down. Let's see what happens here. And I think part of that might have been that he was trying to stay in the lead lap, right? He just had that accident. I'm sure that
plus he tried to keep it off the inside wall to begin with, so his tires were probably already pretty warm from, you know, locking them up and trying to stay off that inside wall too, so that didn't help at all.
We're following around the replay from a couple laps ago here, trying to see what happened. So number 62 is getting pressured by Frank here. And there he just crushes the wall, and that's the Sherman close call of the race there. And that's going to go to the number 24, Frank DiMaggio. Here is we're in the longest race of the year here in the USRC Cup Series. Lap 77 of 200, 300 miles, and Bubba Wallace 300.
33 looks on the inside.
Yeah, guys, I'm not sure what the track temperature is, but I'm really surprised that outside's working as well it is in turns 3 and 4. So Would love to pull that up. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so it's 81 degrees, 82. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's playing
track
a lot.
and air. Yeah, both.
Yeah, so that definitely really helps that outside line a lot, and I think that's why we're seeing it because of that high ambient and track temperature.
You know, kind of like we talk about every week, man. It's so impressive what iRacing has been able to do with the sim racing here. So I've had the service, geez, I want to say about 8 years now. And I'll tell you what, racing now as compared to then, there is no competition anywhere in the market for what they do here in iRacing here, especially when it comes to stock cars. Let's see what happens. He's coming out. Is this 4 guys? Yep. He's going to be coming out of 4 in that higher lane. Gets loose. Tries to correct it. Slams the wall. Oh, and he just... Oh, and it just will never...
Is that it?
Congratulations on the Stage 2 win, Frank. Yeah, 1 lap shootout there. It was fun to watch. We go green the rest of the way, guys, to lap 200. Super fun to watch. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I really like the 33 car staying out there. I think that's a good move if he can keep Frank behind him for 10, 15 laps and force Frank to kind of force the issue, burn stuff up.
And here we go. Lap 106 of 200 here. The I'm sorry, 105 of 200 in the USRC Cup. Oh, okay, it changed. 106 of 200 in the USRC Cup Series. We're not professionals here, but we try to call it like we are as we see the 24 Frank DiMaggio. Oh, the 33 got into the wall. And 420 is going to try to go 3 wide. Think against it.
Here comes a 94.
Wow.
Wow. Power move there by the 94 car.
We were having
Jordan
problems
Mallett.
announcing. They were having problems driving. It's a tough day here in Charlotte Motor Speedway.
420 looks to the inside of DiMaggio. Wasn't quite able to get the car in there.
This is what I've been looking for, the return of the 420 of Josh Powell. And he is there right now, followed by the 94 Jordan Malish.
Yeah, and this is a typical case of Malish here. Has a lot of short run speed, but just burns his stuff up so fast that it just isn't around at the end.
The 33 does, you know, he's got significant right side nose damage now, so it's going to put a dampener on his run tonight.
And right now we see the number 6 of John Nelson, Dog, as he's known, try to go on the inside of J.W. Miller. See who prevails here. So hard to pass.
Yeah, if I'm anybody inside the top 5 right here, I go into major conserve mode in terms of tires because, you know, if this does stay green, you're really going to need to run it out as long as you can, or really, really short pit if you're going to figure out how to get around Frank here to win this race. Yeah, he really is staying in touch. I mean, he really hasn't lost much time at all. And he's passed, I don't know, 10 laps or so.
It's like kind of they redline a little bit going into 1. He lets it sit. And man, when he got going there at a 2, just seems like Frank picked it up ever so slightly quicker than him. Good arc. He stays low, or a little bit higher than Frank did. Arcs that line. Man, you see him kind of catch it right there.
He got through that corner much better than Frank, and he's gaining him. He gained a 10th in the last 2 laps here, so we'll see if he can actually do something. But I think Frank may be kind of sandbagging a little bit here. You can also look at John Nelson here. I mean, he's moved up to P3. I mean, he's only 4 seconds back, so he's definitely within reach that if he makes the right strategy on pit road, he may be able to leapfrog these top 2 and then fight for this win.
And as soon as we cut to him, he got the wiggles. I don't know if you saw that. We cut to him, and I saw him get wiggly and correct it. Seems like everybody's fighting a little bit of a looseness coming off of these turns here. Made it back.
Powell. And Powell just pulled into the pits right now.
All right, pulled in the pits on lap 150 of 200 USRC Cup Series. 200 laps, 300 miles. The Bubba Wallace 300. Frank DiMaggio in the lead, followed by John Nelson, J.W. Miller, Jordan Malish, and Josh Powell is your top 5 as Josh Powell is about to be coming out of the pits. And number 24, Frank DiMaggio, is coming in. Here he goes, guys. This is where the race is made. Came back at the right time. Stops are coming. Looks like the number 6 of John Nelson is coming in. As we're about to go on 5 laps to go here, it looks like he's about to put Jordan Malish a lap down.
Yeah, that means he's gonna lap up all the way to position 4, which is an absolute beatdown by DiMaggio tonight.
Another win for Frank. I mean, hey, riding that number 24 iconic DuPont Chevrolet. He's going to get himself a win here at Charlotte. It's good to see the throwback scheme back with Frank. Frank's back in action. That's 2 1.5-mile speedways in a row. He's sitting pretty on top of the points standings. Longest race of the year, Sean. 300 miles, 200 laps. He was there at the end. Looks like he's going to pick up the flag.
Yeah. He, like we said, it was kind of everything he needed to do, and he did it right. So congratulations to him. We're going to get him here in the booth and talk to him here in a second. And
the 24 is going to show us how it's done. The Bubba Wallace 300 here at Charlotte. The longest race of the year in the USRC Cup Series, guys. And he's going back at it. He's just going to blow up this motor. He don't care.